Multiple sclerosis is not typically a fatal disease, but we don't live as long as people without MS. There's good news, though. A lot of good news. In today's video, I'm going to talk about life expectancy and how it's changing, what people with MS typically die from, and some changes we can make to help improve our longevity. Hello, my dear friends, and welcome. I'm glad you're here. Today's topic is a hard one, and it may be difficult for some, but I think it's one we really need to talk about more. Please stay with me, even though this may be hard, because I promise there's good news, and there are things that we can do to help so we can live a long and healthy life. I'm in a number of online forums and groups for MS, and this year we've lost a few members. It's been hard. We build relationships in these groups, and when one of us passes, we all feel the loss. They're one of us. They're part of our community. It got me to thinking about our mortality, and I decided I wanted to address it here and share information, dispel some myths, and offer some tips and some hope. When I was looking into the life expectancy of people with MS, I found varying reports of how long we live. The National Health Service in the UK says MS itself is rarely fatal, but complications may arise from severe MS, such as chest or bladder infections or swallowing difficulties. The average life expectancy for people with MS is around 5 to 10 years lower than the average, and this gap appears to be getting smaller all the time. Multiple Sclerosis News Today reported in February of 2023, on average, the lifespan for people with MS is about 5 to 10 years shorter than for the general population, but this gap is getting shorter as treatments and care continue to improve. This article from Medical News Today that was released in January of 2024 states, "Today, MS is rarely fatal, though the National MS Society estimates that MS can shorten a person's life by 7 years. And finally, from the Multiple Sclerosis Trust, they say, studies suggest, on average, having MS reduces your life expectancy by 6 to 7 years. The gap is closing all the time." Do you see a trend? The gap is getting shorter. The gap is closing. We're living almost as long as the general population, and some are reporting we live as long as anyone. The National Institute of Neurological Disorders and Stroke says, "The disease is rarely fatal, and most people with MS have a normal life expectancy." See, I told you there was good news. There's also a lot we can do to minimize risk factors. But before we get to those, let's look at what the leading causes of death are for us. I found 2 studies from British Columbia, Canada. They are one of the few places worldwide with availability of large population-based administrative data and detailed multiple causes of death information. In the first study released in 2020, they looked at clinical and population-based administrative health databases for the causes of death in people with MS. The leading causes of death were genitourinary disorders infections, respiratory diseases infections, suicide, cardiovascular disease, and other infections, septicemia. In the other study from 2020, where they looked at over 770,000 adult death certificates in British Columbia, they found that 2,153 listed MS as a contributing factor. Of those that mentioned MS, the cause of death was more likely caused by urinary tract infection, aspiration pneumonia, skin disease, respiratory infection, chronic respiratory disease, or other infection, including sepsis. They also said that heart disease, diabetes, and chronic lung conditions are associated with shorter survival in people with MS. 2 things that I'd like to note. The skin diseases were mostly from pressure sores, and there are limitations to this data, as not all death certificates would include MS if the doctor did not consider MS as relevant to the cause of death. That said, this is important data. Okay, enough about death. Let's talk about things that we can do to improve our life expectancy, okay? As I mentioned at the beginning of this video, We are seeing that the gap between the age of death in people with MS versus the general population is shrinking. This is in part due to the advent of treatment for us. Just over 30 years ago, there were no treatments. So less than a generation ago, nothing medically could be done to slow down or stop MS. Now that we have treatments, we're going to see this gap getting smaller and smaller each year. I'm not a doctor, so I can't offer medical advice, but definitely talk with your doctor about what treatment might be best for you. There's also a much better understanding on how diet and lifestyle changes can affect our health and longevity, as well as more research happening all the time. And many of the deaths are linked to infections. To reduce the risk of infections, there are things that we can do. Let's start with urinary tract infections. One of the reasons they're high on the list for cause of death is these infections can travel to our kidneys and get into the blood. We can lower our risk for urinary tract infections in a few ways. One is to stay hydrated. Many of us have bladder issues, and this may cause us to restrict fluids. This can cause our urine to become more concentrated and our bladders to empty less frequently. When this happens, bacteria can grow and cause infection. I've seen recommendations to drink 6 to 9 glasses of water a day. It seems like a lot, but if we drink 1 when we wake up, 1 at breakfast, 1 between breakfast and lunch, 1 at lunch, 1 between lunch and dinner, 1 at dinner, and 1 after dinner, that's 7. And we're probably getting fluids in our foods as well. Next is cleanliness. Keep the area around our urethra clean, especially for the ladies, as our urethra is close to our vagina and anus. Wipe from the front to the back after urinating. Urinate after intercourse to flush out bacteria. And if we use catheters to help with urinating, take extra care to keep the area clean before using the catheter. Next is working with a doctor or your urologist to help with bladder issues. There are medications, physical therapy, electrical stimulation, and other treatments that can help us with incontinence and retention issues. Other infections that we can help with are bed sores. Bed sores are sores that can happen when we can't move. It's kind of mislabeled as they're not all caused by beds. They can be caused by sitting in wheelchairs too. If there's pressure on a certain point for too long, it can cause these sores. It is important to change positions frequently or have someone help us to change positions. It's also important to have appropriate cushioning. If a sore does happen, it's critical to get it treated and healed as quickly as possible. See your doctors if you develop pressure sores. Pneumonia and lung infections are other infections that we can possibly prevent. Some people with MS have difficulty swallowing due to nerve damage. This is called dysphagia. These infections can be caused by aspirating food or saliva. When this happens, bacteria can get into our lungs and cause infections. If you notice you cough frequently, sputter, or choke on food or spit, definitely talk with your doctor. There are exercises and therapies to help improve swallowing. Some easy changes that can help is to take small bites, take small sips, and have good posture when eating. Dietary changes may also help by eliminating high-risk foods. A speech pathologist can help with all of these and make recommendations to help. The next cause of death that we can get help with is suicide. Some data suggests that suicide rates for people with MS can be double that of the general population, and that young males are most at risk. If you or someone you know with MS is having suicidal thoughts, please know that there is help. I will put numbers on the screen and in the description below where you can reach out for help. Please pause the video and jot down these numbers, and please reach out for help. At the beginning of many of my videos, I say, "Hello, my dear friends, and welcome. I'm glad you're here." And I mean it. You are dear to me. You are my friends, and you're part of my community. As such, I want you to know that you matter and help is available. Next are comorbid conditions like heart disease and type 2 diabetes. You may hear that these are sometimes referred to as lifestyle diseases because many times they're related to how we live. There are things that we can do to reduce the risks of these as well. There are 5 things I do in addition to my medication to help me live well with my MS, and they can help you with reducing risk for these diseases too. Eat a predominantly whole food, plant-based diet. Exercise regularly as you're able. Try to get good sleep. Practice mindfulness daily. And take supplements as needed under the guidance of your doctors. I get guidance from my neurologist and my naturopathic doctor on what supplements are best for me. All 5 of these can help us reduce our risk for heart disease and type 2 diabetes. Can we live a long and full life with MS? Yes. Looking into this topic has been transformational for me. Now that I'm aware of the top risks for us, I know there are things that I can do to help mitigate them. Modern medicines can help, seeking the support of health professionals for assistance with preventing infections and with mental health challenges, and making diet and lifestyle changes can all help us to close that gap between life expectancy with MS and the general population. Did you have any aha moments from today's video? Are there things you'll change? Let me know in the comments below. If you found this video helpful, please share it with others who might find it helpful too. Thanks for joining me today. Please like the video and subscribe, and watch these videos next for more information on living well with MS or chronic illness. Until next time, be well.